Twitter section is 3-2 Chipotle order service with one sons, but not Tom Spooks. Like the link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out. So let's into this back in 3, 2, 1.
I used to work at a retail store several years ago. The store was in a shopping center that had basically all of the main stores and restaurants you could ask for within a several-mile radius. One night, I was working a later shift, but wasn't closing. I got off work at probably about 9 or 10 p.m. when everything had quieted down a bit. I began to walk to my car near the back of the parking lot. And after I made my long walk there, I arrived at my car and realized just how hungry I was. I turned around and saw Chipotle, which shared a general parking lot with us. When I looked, I suddenly got the craving for a Chipotle burrito bowl and turned around and walked back up. I got inside.
What's a Chipotle burrito bowl?
And there was only 2 people in line in front of me.
Comment down below if you try Chipotle. Comment down below.
I got my food and then walked out to go back to my car at the end of the parking lot. When I arrived at my car, though, I saw that there was another car now parked 2 spaces over to my left, which was also the very last space at the corner of the parking lot. The hood of the car was up, and I saw a younger-looking man standing in front of it. As I got closer, the man approached me and asked me what I knew about cars. I told him not a whole lot, and asked him what had happened. The man said he didn't know, and asked me if I could maybe take a look inside his car. He explained to me that he'd been sitting in the parking lot for over an hour trying to get it to start, but it just wouldn't. I asked the man if his car had been in this exact same parking spot the whole time, and he said yes. Now I suddenly knew that the man was lying about this, and I got suspicious because I had just been here 10 minutes earlier, and the man and the car were both not there.
What?
The man then told me to come around to the driver's side and...
What the? The man in the car was it up? What the? If it was an part of the car, then why was it either when it was 10 minutes ago? That's a little odd,
Look, which was the far side from where we were at. I noticed that there seemed to be some sort of blankets draped from the inside of the car windows, covering them so that you couldn't see inside. I told the man sorry, but I had to get back to work. The man insisted that I take a look in his car, but I had already began walking back to the department store where I worked. I calmly and casually walked back to my store, even though I was really nervous and wanted to run. But thankfully, the man didn't come after me or say anything more. I walked all the way back and got inside my store. Then I looked out the window at the parking lot where the man was. He was really far away, but I could see about 30 seconds after I got inside the store. I watched the man close his hood and then get inside his car and just drive off.
What?
I don't know exactly why that man wanted me to...
What the? It could be because then why he was driving out. That's a little suspicious. Really suspicious.
to look at his car, but I feel like he was trying to set me up for something.
Yeah. Number 2.
A couple of years ago, when I was a little younger, I used to work at a Chipotle restaurant. I was in school and lived in an apartment near the city. Because of this, I was able to walk to work every single day, because it only took me about...
Drop a like if you like Chipotle. Drop a like.
About 10 minutes, and was better than city driving. I usually worked later shifts from the afternoons to close, or at least nighttime on weekdays. When I got off, I would walk home, and for the first few months of working there, everything was cool. But over time, I started to notice that it seemed as though somebody was following me home. I would often hear footsteps behind me, or see somebody trailing me from a far ways back. I had never noticed before, because in the past, almost every single time I had walked home, nobody else had been walking on the sidewalks at all. I only started noticing it because it was happening every single night. When I started to take notice, I would always notice the person would follow me to my apartment complex, but never go inside of the complex, and always walk right past it.
Yeah.
This was strange to me because beyond our apartment complex, there really wasn't anything else in that direction. It was kind of just woods with no park or walking trail that I knew of. Every time I would see this guy, I would never get a good look at him because of it being dark out and him being so far away.
Yep.
He would also usually seem to be looking at the ground, so I really had no idea who he was or what he looked like. Still, I did know for sure, and for the time span of I would say 2 or 3 weeks, I would just walk home with this person behind me and ignore it. Then, one night after work, I got off a little bit early. It was a weekend, so I could stay up later, and my friend Anna invited me over. She lived in the opposite direction, but was also within walking distance from work. She lived in a little neighborhood about 15 minutes away. When I got off, I started to walk to Anna's place, but before long, I heard footsteps behind me, and once again was reminded of the man who was seemingly stalking me every time I worked.
What?
He was the only other person on the sidewalk once again, and as I looked behind me, he appeared.
What the? There's some guy? What the? That's really odd.
To sure enough be the same guy.
Yup.
What this really did was confirm to me that this guy was in fact following me every single time, and I wasn't just being paranoid for no reason.
Yeah.
When I finally got to Anna's neighborhood, I knew exactly which house was hers, so I turned onto a street immediately which led to her backyard, and then hid in there. I was so far ahead of the man that I knew he wouldn't see which way I went.
Yeah.
I heard footsteps from a ways away, and then they went into an opposite direction. I then texted my friend Anna, and she let me in her house. We hung out for a while, but about an hour later, Anna was in her kitchen, and she said she saw a weird guy looking in her front window. My heart sank.
What the? A weird guy looking in the window? What the? Why is he looking in the window? Why?
And I told her to come back to the living room where I was. I asked her what the man looked like, and she said just pretty average. She went back to look again, but the man was gone. Of course, I immediately was worried that it was the same guy that had been following me, and I told Anna all about it.
Yeah, it could be,
We weren't really sure what we could do about it though, and we didn't see him for the rest of the night. The next day, I went out and bought some mace that I could use in self-defense, although I was hoping it would never come to that. But the next day, I worked late. When I got off, I once again heard the footsteps behind me as if I was being followed. But this time, the footsteps didn't stay behind me for long. They seemed to be walking faster than usual. The man was walking really fast and quickly catching up to me. I walked faster and faster, but so did he. Eventually, he got so close to me that I decided to cross the street and walk on the other side. When I did, he did as well. We were not in a very busy or well-lit area, and it was just us on the sidewalk.
What?
The man started moving aggressively towards me suddenly. I couldn't take it anymore, and at that point, I saw him start to reach out for me, and I went for my pocket and pulled out the mace and sprayed it all over him. I got him good in the face, and the man jumped back and ran away. After that, I went home, and ended up going to the police a short time later.
Good for you.
Happy to say that I was never followed again after that.
Wow. Story number 3.
I work at Chipotle. I've been working there for almost a year now. I like the job, and I've made friends with some of my coworkers, which I really like. For the most part, I like everything about the job.
Yeah.
But of course, there are occasionally bad customers and things like that.
Bad customers?
One night, I was working a closing shift, and was mainly
bad customers is never good. Yeah.
Working behind the counter near the cash register. The night had been pretty average, which meant busy at dinner time, and then quieting down as the night went on. It was getting to be closing time, and we still had several customers inside. There was a man in the restaurant that I saw walking up to me. The man wore an older-looking jacket that seemed really worn, and he had a small, scruffy beard and wore sunglasses as well. He came up to me and asked if he could have some free chips. We weren't allowed to just give free chips out, so I told him sorry, but no. It was kind of awkward to say no, so I tried to say it in the nicest way that I could. The man just walked away without saying anything. We had, I think, 2 more total customers come in before it was just about closing time. The man once again came up to me and asked for free chips once the other customers had ordered. I told him no once again. I saw the man then start to walk up to the other customers in the restaurant and seem to talk to them, but I couldn't really hear what he was saying. At one point, I could clearly see that the people he was talking to were not happy with whatever the guy was saying. The man then came back up to the counter.
Why does he want free chips? Why? That's a little suspicious.
And told me to give him something for free. At this point,
He wants free food, yep. That's all he wants, free food. Yep. He needs to know he cannot eat free food. Yes, you pay for it.
I said the man would have to leave the restaurant. He got kind of angry at this, and at first, he said no. I was concerned that this was going to get out of hand and the man was not going to leave. But at last, the man finally turned and walked away. I was so happy to see that, because we were just closing at the same time too. I went over after that and began to clean some parts of the restaurant before I could leave. There were 2 other coworkers who stayed back and were cleaning with me. They were mainly in the back, and I went out to the rest of the restaurant and cleaned a little. When I got to the bathrooms, I walked in to make sure everything was in order. Everything looked fine at first, until I noticed that one of the stall doors was closed. I tried to open it, but saw that it was locked. Obviously, we were closed, and nobody was supposed to be in there, and I didn't see anybody's feet on the floor from under the stall.
What?
I decided to crawl under the stall to unlock it. But as soon as I did, I saw that the same man from before was standing on the toilet, crouched over, looking right at me. As he saw me, he sprang up and looked like he was going to try to kick me right in the face. I backed off as fast as I could and ran away as he kicked the
What the? Why is he hiding in the washroom? Why? Why is he hiding in the washroom? Washroom? That's a little odd. Yeah.
stall door. He then opened it, and I ran out of the entire restaurant. Thankfully, the man chased me out, and once he was out, I ran as fast as I could away from there. I was much faster than him, and lost him pretty easily. I called one of my coworkers, who then called the police about the incident. To all of our surprise, the man returned once again, and the police were able to arrest him at the scene. He turned out to be on drugs, but it made for a crazy night.
The guy was on drugs? Wow. I can't believe that guy was on drugs. No wonder he was acting suspicious. He was on drugs. That was wow. That was something. Yeah. Literally. That was a tweet to Chipotle order service response by Not Tom's Books. The link to the video will be in the description below. Go and check them out. So drop a like if you like, and comment down below if you want to see more reaction like this one. And subscribe if you're new. And click the bell to be notified when I upload. You know what? Bye.